We now turn our attention to the Harris County Criminal Justice Center in Texas, where a gripping scene unfolds involving the case of Dexter Johnson, a teenager who has been condemned to death for a heinous crime. Prepare yourself as we delve into the details of the crime committed by Dexter Johnson, his subsequent sentencing, and most notably, his reaction to the verdict. In the serene town of Harris County, a harrowing crime transpired that would irrevocably alter the lives of all those involved. The unsettling chain of events began in 2006, when Dexter Johnson, a mere 18 years old, found himself ensnared in a realm of darkness and violence. Johnson, alongside 4 other teenagers, embarked on a spree of criminal activities that left a wake of devastation in its path. On one ominous evening, Johnson and his cohorts targeted Maria Ares, a 23-year-old woman, and Hoang Go, a 17-year-old boy, who were seated in Maria's car outside Go's residence, oblivious to the impending danger. In a swift and forceful manner, Johnson and his group intruded, overpowering the unsuspecting couple. Fear and chaos gripped the atmosphere as Maria and Hoang Go realized they were at the mercy of these ruthless individuals. What began as a carjacking swiftly escalated into a far more sinister ordeal. Johnson and his accomplices had no intention of merely stealing the vehicle and fleeing the scene. Instead, they coerced Maria and Hoang Go into the back seat, transporting them to a secluded location away from prying eyes. Driven by a malevolent desire for dominance, Johnson subjected Maria to a horrific and degrading act of sexual assault. In a chilling display of callousness, Johnson and another teenager brandished their weapons, aiming them at the terrified couple, and without hesitation, ended their lives in a moment of ruthless violence. The murders committed by Dexter Johnson and his associates were not isolated incidents, but part of a 25-day crime spree that instilled terror in the community. 3 additional killings were attributed to Johnson and his gang, leaving behind a trail of devastation. The overwhelming weight of evidence against Johnson necessitated accountability for his actions. The subsequent trial garnered national attention, with the prosecution portraying Johnson as a remorseless killer devoid of empathy for his atrocious deeds. After meticulous deliberation, the jury rendered its verdict. Dexter Johnson was convicted of the double murder and sentenced to death. The courtroom atmosphere following the pronouncement of the sentence was charged with shock, grief, and anger. Johnson's family expressed profound sorrow, their cries and wails disrupting the solemn proceedings. In stark contrast, Johnson himself reacted with fury and disbelief at the jury's decision, making a shocking and unrepentant attempt to attack the victim's family members. Chaos ensued in the courtroom, with officers swiftly intervening to contain Johnson's outburst. Despite the severity of his actions and the gravity of his punishment, Dexter Johnson displayed a lack of remorse, underscoring the chilling nature of the crimes he committed. This case is about to shake you to the core. Sean Sellers is about to face his sentencing. This case, which intertwines elements of murder, satanic rituals, and a controversial trial, has captivated the nation's attention. Sean Sellers, a young man from Oklahoma, committed a series of brutal murders that would forever alter the course of his life. Let us delve into the shocking details of Sellers' crimes, his trial, and his ultimate fate in the dark and twisted realm of criminality. Some cases stand out for their sheer brutality and disturbing nature, and the case of Sean Sellers is undoubtedly one such example. Born on May 18, 1969 in Courtroom, California, Sellers would go on to commit a series of heinous crimes that would forever tarnish his name in the annals of criminal history. It all began on that fateful day in September 1985, when Sellers, just 16 years old at the time, embarked on a path of destruction that would claim the lives of 3 innocent individuals. His first victims were his own mother, Vonda Bellato, and his stepfather, Lee Bellato. With a handgun in his hand, he carefully aimed and fired, first shooting his stepfather and then his mother, who awoke to the sound of the gunshot. Sellers showed no mercy as he shot her in the face, extinguishing her life in an instant. But Sellers' murderous rampage did not end there. He later confessed to another killing that had taken place in 1985, just months before the murder of his parents. This time, his victim was Robert Paul Bauer, a 32-year-old Circle K convenience store clerk. The motive behind this senseless act of violence was that Bauer had refused to sell Sellers beer, and in a fit of rage, Sellers decided to take matters into his own hands. Armed with a handgun, he confronted Bauer at the store and callously ended his life. What makes Sellers' crimes all the more shocking is the motive behind them. At his trial, Sellers claimed to be a practicing Satanist at the time of the murders. He professed that he was under the influence of demonic possession, specifically by a demon named Aur, which compelled him to commit these heinous acts. In later documents, Sellers revealed that he had immersed himself in the teachings of the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey, reading it hundreds of times between the ages of 15 and 16. He believed that Satanism offered him an honest way to live and that its rituals would grant him control over his life. Despite Sellers' claims of demonic possession and his alleged addiction to Satanism, the jury refused to consider these factors. They found him guilty of multiple homicides and sentenced him to death in 1986. At the time, Oklahoma law did not allow for life sentences without the possibility of parole, leaving the jury with no choice but to opt for the death penalty. Despite the pleas for mercy, Sellers' fate was sealed. However, he seemed to have made peace with the fact that he was sentenced to die, stating, "I don't care if they kill me. I don't care if I live to be 1,000 years old. I will never be what I was before." Subscribe to our channel if you want more videos like this and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching and turn on the notifications to keep yourself updated.